Long, long ago, in a quiet village by the sea, there stood a tall lighthouse made of stone and silver. It rose above the cliffs like a guardian, its bright lantern casting a soft golden glow into the restless night. In that lighthouse lived a girl named Elia. Elia was 12 years old, with wind-tousled hair the color of wet sand and eyes as blue as the summer tide. She lived with her father, Captain Thorn, who was the village's lighthouse keeper. Every night, while the villagers slept peacefully, Captain Thorn climbed the spiral stairs to light the lantern and watch the waves. Their home was filled with soft wool blankets, sea charts, old compasses, and the smell of salt and fresh bread. Seagulls cawed every morning, and the ocean whispered lullabies every night. It was a quiet life, a comforting life. But Elia always felt like the lighthouse held more secrets than anyone knew. Her father often spoke to her of promises. "The lighthouse is a promise," he said, "to guide, to protect, to shine, no matter the storm." And every time he said it, he touched the old golden key that hung around his neck. One day, as the sun began to dip behind silver clouds, a cold wind swept through the village. It wasn't an ordinary wind. It howled softly, almost like it was whispering words. "Storm's coming," muttered Captain Thorn, tightening the ropes on the lantern house. "And not just any storm." Elia tilted her head. "You mean a sea storm?" Captain Thorn shook his head. "A whispering storm, the kind that only comes once in 100 years." That night, over warm tea and flickering oil lamps, Captain Thorn told Elia a story. "Long ago," he said, "when this lighthouse was first built, it stood at the edge of two worlds, the world of humans and the world beneath the waves. Elia," he continued, "this lighthouse was once lit not with fire but with magic, magic that called to the sea spirits, asking them to protect the coast during the great storms. But such magic comes at a cost, and with a promise." Elia leaned in closer, her heart thumping like the waves below. "What promise?" she asked. Her father looked at her with soft, serious eyes. "That if ever a whispering storm returned, and I was not able to climb those steps, the keeper's child must keep the promise, must light the lantern, must face the sea." The next morning, thunder rolled low and slow across the sky like a sleeping beast. Rain tapped at the windows, the waves below the cliffs crashed and frothed like angry horses, and Elia's father didn't rise from bed. He was pale and weak, a fever burned on his brow. "Elia," he whispered, "the light must shine tonight. Promise me." Elia's hands trembled as she took the golden key from around his neck. "I promise," she whispered. She climbed the spiral stairs, step by careful step, her lantern swaying with each breath. Wind howled through the lighthouse walls, but Elia held firm. At the top, she reached for the great lantern's lever, but it would not move. Something was wrong. Then she noticed a panel hidden in the stone floor, with a small lock shaped like a seashell. She took her father's golden key, placed it in the lock, and the panel slid open with a hush like waves on sand. Inside was a chamber, warm with a soft green glow. Elia stepped inside. In the center was a crystal orb, floating above a silver pedestal. Around it danced small, glowing lights, like stars, but made of water. A voice echoed gently through the chamber. "Daughter of the keeper, the storm has come." Elia turned to see a small sea sprite, no taller than her knee, with shimmering fins and eyes like deep wells. "You are young," the sprite said, "but your heart is strong." Elia stood tall, though her knees felt like jelly. "I promise my father, I will light the lantern." The sprite smiled and handed her a book bound in kelp and silver thread. "Speak the words on the final page. But know this, you must believe. Only those with true courage and kindness can wake the ancient light." Elia held the book close, walked back up to the lantern room and opened the final page. She read aloud, her voice shaking but steady. "Light that watched the waters deep, now awaken from your sleep. Shine to guide both ship and soul. Make the stormy sea feel whole. And suddenly, the lantern glowed, not with fire, but with golden blue magic that shimmered across the clouds. The storm paused, the waves grew gentle, the wind calmed. The whispering storm had heard her promise. When dawn broke, golden and soft, the village stirred. The lighthouse still stood, tall and proud. Its lantern still glowed, though dimly now in the morning sun. Captain Thorne, stronger than the day before, met Elia at the top of the stairs. "You did it," he whispered, tears in his eyes. "You kept the promise." And Elia, though tired and wrapped in blankets, smiled wide. The light is more than just fire, it's heart. From that day on, people didn't just call her the lighthouse keeper's daughter. They called her the keeper of the light. And though storms came and went, the sea seemed gentler somehow, as if it remembered the girl who had once spoken softly to the storm and lit the way with love. And every night before bed, she would whisper to the sea, "I will always keep the promise." And the waves whispered back, "Always. Now rest, little listener, the stars are out, the sea is calm, and all is well."